Hey y'all, just like Amberlynn Reid on a YouTube break, I'm back again already. Our girl has gone full Foodie Beauty and posted herself a live rager just to turn right around and delete it immediately after. Of course, we all know that means it didn't happen, right? Now, she posted this on the heels of Beck and Destiny's most recent live stream, and she made her response based off of information fed to her about the stream by some folks on Instagram rather than watching the stream for herself. She also made this without any knowledge, apparently, of Beck's community tab post clarifying some things that were said on the live stream. So let's take a look at what our girl had to say.
I'm sure people will watch this on repeat. Not on repeat, but on what's it called? Because I'm gonna leave it up. So I chose, which was very hard to do, I'm not gonna lie. It was very, very hard. I didn't watch what Beck and Destiny said. It was very hard. Very, very. I wanted to click it a million different times, but I'm actually trying to do what my therapist says. I'm trying very hard. But I went on.
Normally, I would say that's great advice. Now, whether or not she's actually in proper therapy, I don't know. That's beside the point with this one. As far as whether or not she should be consuming Beck's content, Beck and Destiny's content, Casey's content, reaction channel content, it is probably for the best that she doesn't, based on how we've seen it affect her and on how she says it affects her mental health. Yeah, normally I would say she shouldn't be watching it. However, if you're gonna post a response where you pop off about that content, maybe you should watch it for yourself first. Maybe you should check out that creators community tab first. Just a thought, just a shot in the dark. No, don't want to do that. No, okay, carry on.
Onto Instagram, and I couldn't even believe how many people were like, "Oh, you lied about having cancer. I knew it." I was like, "What the happened? Like, genuinely, what happened?" Um, so I'm gonna show more medical proof. Okay, that's fun. So I signed in to my health chart, and I'm obviously going to block um, the address of said place and the doctor name. But this is just the notes on the doctor chart that said, I had the pleasure of seeing Amber Reid in a follow up in the office today. So this was after my hysterectomy when I had a follow up and got scheduled to do another CT scan. So it was after my hysterectomy, which during my emergency DNC, they biopsied. That's when they called me in front of Beck on speakerphone because that they do not deliver cancer news while you are alone. That's what they told me. They said, "Are you near anybody?" I said, "Yes, I'm with my girlfriend."
Now, I have seen some debate back and forth in the community about whether medical news like this would be delivered over the phone. I do know that while I don't have any personal experience with cancer news over the phone, I do know that post COVID, big, serious medical information, sometimes they will give that to you over the phone, especially if there are extenuating circumstances like you're having COVID symptoms. They don't want you to come into the office or something like that. Yeah, they will do that over the phone these days. A lot of facilities will. The speakerphone thing seems highly convenient though. And regardless, we all saw in the vlogs how detached, how out of it Beck was. So much of the footage of Beck at this time, they are just in a daze walking around in Amber's videos, just kind of almost looking like they're disassociating, to be honest. So the fact that they weren't, keeping up with every detail of what was going on, rather than just being like, oh, we're in a medical emergency, let's just deal with it. Yeah, I believe that Beck was probably a little bit checked out at that point and wasn't hanging on to every bit of information. And as Beck clarified, this was not meant to suggest that the cancer was a lie.
They said, "Can you put it on speaker?" I said, "Okay." They said, "Are you sitting?" I said, "Yes." Then they told me. I started bawling my eyes out with Beck right next to me. Flash forward, we go to several appointments, we go to several oncology visits, etc., etc. Beck is in the room with me every single time. And then my mom comes to visit. My mom is in the room with me every single time, both of them. Sometimes it was only one of them because it was during COVID. So then I had to choose between the two.
Like I said, I do believe at this point it's possible that Beck was pretty checked out a great deal of the time as far as what was going on around them. At this point in the vlogs, we see a Beck that is pretty checked out and appears to just be getting through the day, going through the motions. And frankly, considering everything else we've learned about the situation at the time, is is pretty understandable.
But then I had my hysterectomy. I was in the hospital for 4 days. Beck didn't leave one time. Beck did not leave one time. There was a doctor and a nurse, a doctor and a nurse in there constant every 20 minutes checking on me, telling me about my results, etc., etc. Beck was with me the whole time. So if Beck is going to sit there and say that they don't know if I actually had cancer, you're either lying for money or you really truly never gave a about me. Miss Reid is a 29-year-old patient who.
Now, I do think that it is possible that I'm not saying Beck never cared about Amber at all, but I think it is possible at this point that Beck was checked out and kind of didn't give a. Is it commendable? Not necessarily, but is it understandable? Yeah, a little bit.
Who underwent a total abdominal hysterectomy. These words are huge, so if I stumble, I'm going to apologize. With bilateral blah 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 on July 15th, 2020, with final pathology revealing stage 1B, grade 2 endometrial cancer with 56% myometrial invasion and no blah 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 blah. So here are, this is from the actual where I went, the documentation on the actual app. So there is the proof. Beck, you are disgusting. You can say whatever you want about my hygiene, about rags. I don't give a.
You do, though. You highly give a. You give a lot of. You made a whole video about the rag thing. Oh, I'm sorry. You directed that at Salty Crab, not Beck. But we all know Beck was the one you were actually angry at in that video. So, whatever.
But to want money so bad that you're going to sit there and dismiss myself going through cancer when you literally saw the whole journey and you were there right next to me, you. And goodbye.
So there it is, folks. The deleted pop off on Beck. Obviously, she rethought this one because it is long gone from her channel. But as y'all know, the internet is forever. I can't believe Amberlynn forgot that. But here we are. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye.
You watched it, didn't you?